Hey, sixth graders. Mrs. Smallwood here. Hope you guys are hanging in there. Today you're going to continue your story of Frog, Toad, and Mole as they are on their journey in the Yellow Canary car cart. Hope you're enjoying that so far, and I wonder what you thought about the mood. How did the mood get created, and what did the author do? So if you have ideas, email me or leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you noticed. And if you watched any of my videos, I especially love messing around in cars. So I really hope you didn't miss that one. And if you loved it, there is another part of the movie in which they have a song called Messing Around in Boats. Today, as you read about Frog and Toad, I want you to think about irony. Irony is a word that gets thrown around a lot, and it can mean different things in different contexts. But the kind of irony that I want you to think about is situational irony. So situational irony is when something happens in a story where the characters do or say something that is the opposite of what's true or what's actually happening. So you kind of have a behind the scenes look and you're able to see the irony because you're the reader. You're going to be both looking for that as you read, and then that's also your assignment in the work text. Now, looking for irony can be a little bit confusing because sometimes we aren't actually in on the joke, or maybe we didn't understand things in the same way the author did. So I wanted to give you a couple of examples. On number one, and this is in your work text on page 177, as you're thinking about irony, we have this quote that says, "It's impossible to say quite all you feel when your head is underwater." Now, why is that ironic? Well, I would say it's ironic because it's impossible to say anything when your head is underwater. You can't talk at all. So, of course, you can't say how you feel. The second example gives a quote that says, "That creek on the left where the notice board says private, no landing allowed, leads to his boathouse where we'll leave the boat." Now, why is that ironic? Well, it's ironic because they're thinking about landing a boat in a place where you're not supposed to land a boat. So again, irony is when characters or do or say or suggest something that seems to be the opposite of what is true or expected. Now, because this is a little bit confusing, I tracked down a video for you guys. So be sure to check that out. I'll put it in the comments. It's from TED, like TED Talks Education, about what irony is and how you can be on the look for it in both your life and also in your reading. I'll be sure to send out the answer key to this to your parents too, so they can help you and check in. Remember that there's no spelling this week. Woohoo! And continue on in your look at adjectives. So yesterday we did sort of an introduction overview to adjectives, and you looked at a few different ways that you can use adjectives in a sentence. And today what I wanted to talk to you about were special adjectives. So in particular, there's 3 special kinds of adjectives that you're going to be seeing in your lesson. The first you might not think of as adjectives, but articles are actually a form of adjective. So what's an article? A mouse, an hourglass, the cat, right? So all of these are articles that identify an object, but really what they're doing is describing or expanding on. So we call that a special kind of an adjective. Then we have proper adjectives. So I grew up in Alaska, which makes me an Alaskan woman, you could say. And so Alaskan, because it's a proper noun, it relates to a place, you would say that that is a proper adjective. And then finally, there's demonstrative adjectives. And these are words like this, that, those, these. They're talking about a particular one. So real quick, I wanted to give you a couple of examples. I think you'll mostly fly through this, but I always think that it's challenging to slow down and diagram sentences, so I wanted to show you 2 of them. The first is from guided practice number 6. The word is those are beautiful. Those are beautiful. So those, we don't know what it is, but that's the subject of our sentence, whatever those is referring to. And this is, of course, a demonstrative adjective, even though the noun is missing. Then we have our verb right here, are, and then beautiful, which is, of course, an adjective. And yesterday we learned that one way you could define that is a predicate adjective. It's an adjective that's describing not the subject, but the predicate. And then, of course, if you want to diagram that, really in this case, you would just have these three separations. Now this sentence, which you'll find on the next page, page 238, number 12, is a little more complicated. This caterpillar has fuzzy spines. So if you want to break this down, we need to find, again, our subject. So the subject, of course, is the caterpillar, and then our verb is just has, and then the direct object, what does the caterpillar have? Well, the caterpillar has spines. So if you really wanted to make this sentence simpler, you would say caterpillar has spines. Those are our sort of main part. So we would do that just like we did above. Diagram it out. Hope you can see that. And then below it, you would put this, because that relates to caterpillar. It's the demonstrative adjective. And spines, over here underneath that, you'd put fuzzy, because that is the predicate adjective telling us about spines. I know I flew through that. You have instructions in your book. If neither of those make sense to you, start doing this and it doesn't make sense, please email me. I'm here for you guys, and I'd love to check in. Hope you're doing well, and we'll talk to you soon.